A warm welcome to each and everyone, and thank you so much for joining me today for this gathering. And I'm so overwhelmed, and it's very joyful to see you attend this seminar to know about our culture, Andhanatyam, and this is a meaningful seminar. You'll get to learn more things about Andhanatyam, about our Telugu culture. So thank you so much for coming. Thank you so much. It means a lot to me. Even if it is a 5 people or 10 people, 15 people, no matter what, even your attendance means a lot to me. Thank you. So before starting, let me ask how many of you heard Andhanatyam before today? Okay, so I guess Instagram is doing its job good. So, a little about myself before starting. So, my name is Nikitha. I'm an Andhra practitioner. I've been learning this art form for 11 years, and I'm a Doordarshan B grade artist. And so, I have finished my masters from Potti Sreeramulu Telugu University recently. So my training began under Guru Shri Pemi Srinivas Rao Garu, and I'm continuing my advance with Srimati Sadhika Penna, and have also trained under Sri Rayalaseema Garu, and Pemi Pawan sir also helped me gather all the information and all. And my mission is to bring Andhanatyam to a wider audience. This art form doesn't have a code as of now. So when I thought like what I can do as a young practitioner, then I thought maybe I should start connecting with the likewise minded or the youth or our generation. So that is my mission. So as part of that mission, I have started a meme page called Andhanatyam Memes to combine the tradition, to make it fun, to make it look jovial, and to share the information in a very let's say like our way, like in our slang, instead of just getting you bored with the tradition and all. Because we don't like all those. If our grandma says even the nice thing, we love it when it adds humor or it has interesting story. So the same inspired me to start this page. So before we dive into Andhanatyam, I want to share something that always amazes me, how deeply this art form is connected to us. So, like I said many times in my Instagram post or even in my bio, Andhanatyam is the temple tradition classical art form of Telugu speaking regions. I always mention this Telugu people regions. But what is this Telugu speaking regions? So, what we now call as AP and Telangana was once actually known as Trilinga Desa. How many of you know this? Trilinga Desa. Oh, good. So, this name has been passing down. But then, actually, the Trilinga Desa refers to 3 Shiva temples. That is Kaleshwaram in Telangana, Sriseelam from Rayalaseema, and Raksharamam from Coastal Andhra. So this is what we call Telugu speaking regions, Trilinga Desa. So now in this each temple it's not just a religious site, it has cultural hubs, it has Natya Mandapas. For centuries they have been doing dance for centuries in those mandapas. So now what interesting is that even the word Telugu has come from this Trilinga. So it's again referring to the same roots. So when we talk about Andhanatyam, we are not just talking about the dance. We are talking about our geography, our history, our culture, our maps, our Shiva temple. So Andhanatyam, it's not just about an art form. It has a lot more history more than we know. So now let's talk about something that is overlooked in these times, in current generation or from 20th century, the role of dance in temple rituals. So when I say in temple rituals, we have Agama Shastras, like we all know. It is a Shastra where which laid down the rules and of temple construction, the worship, how temples are arranged, how they should be built, how we need to do pujas. All these things were included in Agama Shastra. And now in Agama Shastra there is Nritya also. So Agama has four texts. One is Jana, Yoga, Kriya, and Charya. Jana is something about philosophy and knowledge, and Yoga is spiritual practices, and Kriya about temple architecture and how do we form the rituals. And Charya, which covers the daily activities, duties, and all. But in Kriya Pada, there is a session mentioned that in temple constructions, we need to have a separate space for Natya Mandapas. Something like this. It will look similar to like this with the pillars, with temple architecture. So, this is very interesting because we got dancers come up just like that. But in Agama Shastra only, Natya Mandapas are there. So, it means that this art form doesn't just evolve randomly. It is there from centuries. It is there from our ancestors. And more than that, Nritya or Natya is often like described as upachara. It means like devotional offering to my deity. So just like lighting a lamp, offering Nritya is also one more thing. And before we go ahead, let me ask you, how many here know about Andhanatyam? It's okay. If you haven't, this is exactly why we are here today. Right? So, Andhanatyam, I'll give you a basic definition. Andhanatyam, temple classical dance form of Telugu-speaking regions. Again, it comes to Telangana, Rayalaseema, and Coastal Andhra. But it's more than just a dance. So, it is a living expression. And this art form evolved a richly scaled and historical landscape, like I said, the three Shivalingas and the areas. Their dance was not just a performance, it was always the part of everyday life. Like how we just do bath, how we just hum. It was just a part of daily life for us. And over a span of more than 3,000 years, various dance forms have developed here, especially within temples like Buddhist aramas, royal courts, and among them, three distinct streams of Andhanatyam took shape. Now we'll get to know what are those three streams which actually took shape. So first is Agama Nartanam. Like I said, in Agama Shastra we had a ritual dance. So Agama Nartanam is nothing but the ritual dance performed inside the temples, inside the premises of the temples. So here there is a phrase always mentioned in the Agama Shastra that Nrityam Darshayami. It means I am offering dance to the divine. So it is always mentioned in the Agama Shastra that Nrityam Darshayami, Nrityam Samarpayami. So you'll find dances with the state elements like Kumbhaharati and items. And in this we have Kautams, Navasandhi, Kaivarams, Ashtadikpalaka Aradhana, Adhyatma Kirtana, etc. and all. So if here in Agama Nartanam, everything here is devotional. The dancer is seen almost as a priest. They are equally respected as priests. Now imagine how much the authority they own in those times when they were dancing in the temple. And next comes Asthana Nartanam. So this is the court dance. We say court or chamber dance tradition. So it was performed in places or temple mandapas as part of ritual or royal ceremonies or festivals like that. So here is something interesting that Asthana Nartanam is in temple, it is different from what we perform in royal courts. So like in temples, it is mostly about praising the Lord and all, but it is devotional. But when we come to courts, it's already seen as a part of entertainment for kings, scholars, or patrons, like that. But both shared the same deep focus on Satika Bhave. That is subtle expression, internal emotional expression that we share. So in this repertoire, we have Shabdas, Swarapallavis, Shabdapallavis, Padavarnams, Padams, Javalis, and all. Now, I want to share the very most beautiful and lesser known tradition that is called Navajanardana Parijata. So, this tradition has come from East and West Godavari districts. So, it is deeply rooted from the temple culture of that region. And it's not just a performance. And it's a devotional experience actually. It combines music, poetry, literature, and storytelling. It's a pure emotion actually. So it was a traditional performance by 9 female dancers. Imagine 9 female dancers dancing on 9 consecutive days at Kunti Madhava temple. So there are 9 temples of Kunti Madhava. So before, what they used to do is they used to perform this Navajanardana, the so-called as Bamakalapam, 9 dances. Each dancer would perform at one temple. So it's a consecutive event that is happening, and on the 10th day, they end it by 10th chant of Srimad Mahabharata. So now see, the name Navajanardana Parijatam itself came from this Nava, 9 temples. Janardana means our Kunti Madhava, our Lord Krishna. So Parijatam is again, it's known as a flower. So the name has even developed from the 9 Janardana temples. By this we can understand that dance is always there and it is always followed as a tradition by us previously. So now, what makes it even more special about this Navajanardana Parijatam is it has 150 darus. Not only that, in each daru, the dancer, the artist express different emotional shades like Naika Bhavas. So you can find characters like Vinod Kandita Naika, who restless and she's longing for her, longing in separation, who is missing her partner or lover. Or you can also find Abhisarika, who takes bold steps to meet her beloved one. So all these Naikas you would find. And now all these traditions, Agama, Asthana and Prabandha are what make up today as core of Andhranatyam. They show us how dance once touched every aspect of life. Like I'm saying, it is it is a daily part. So it touches every aspect of life in this region. From temples, from courts, from poetry, from literature, from our if we compare Navajanardana Parijatam, it's a story between Krishna and Satyabhama, which are like general. It's a general conversation. Situation might be different, but the Nayakas we are expressing are even today are relatable. So, and what is more beautiful about this is we find many sculpture evidence in temples. If you can see, there are Natya Mandapas. If you go to Warangal Ramappa temples, you can find many sculptures of dancers. And you will also find Natya Mandapas in many temples. Next time, if you go to temples, try to observe the architecture of that and try to observe if it has any Natya Mandapas, if it has like how it is looking, how might be dancers are. Just try to imagine it. So let's take a moment to understand why Andhanatyam is connected to Agama Shastras. Like I said, you might remember, like I mentioned earlier, that there is Agama Shastra and the text already includes how temples should be built and how we used to dance. So there are items like I said, Kautams, Navasandhi, Ashtadipalaka Aradhana, Kumbhaharati and all. You might have heard all these things. So these are realistic dances which were performed inside Garbhagudi. here inside mandapas. So these spaces are already mentioned in Agama text. The way these dances are performed is in direct alignment with those scriptures. So now when we say Andhanatyam is a temple dance, we really mean it. We are not just fluke saying that okay, this is temple tradition, you follow. No, we have solid proof. It's not styled from reconstruction. It is continuation of actual ritual practices that were once an integral part of temple life. So this is what makes it special, worth preserving this art form. And now comes the most painful chapter in the history of temples. Like you all know, you all have heard it about Devadasi Act. So for centuries, temple dances are known as Devadasis, but when it comes to Telugu regions, temple dances were known as Gudisanis, but not Devadasis. They were termed different. But they respected like ritual artists. They lived in temples, performed dances based on same Agama traditions again, but were involved in music, literature, and spiritual services. But things changed dramatically when British came into picture. It's like they are influenced by Victorian morality. They have misunderstood and misrepresented the woman. Like they misunderstood between the temple dances and prostitutes. So there was a big debate and they had big confusion, which they created, and they also see temple dancers as prostitutes. So this affected a lot of dancers who were once seen as equal as priests. Imagine their huge authority, their power, the dignity they hold because they are dancing in temples. So the dignity was lost. The temple system itself was seen as a backward when British came, and the Devadasi tradition was wrongly equated with prostitution. Now this tend to, like many dancers pout, no, this is not what the respect we deserve. And then comes the Devadasi Prevention Act, Prevention of Dedication Act. So it happened in 1947, right after the independence. So this act actually banned the dedication of girls to the temples and also gave them right to get married. So before it was not there, but after this act, these two things happened. But after this Devadasi Act, it also broke the small line link between the art and stage space. That is the major drawback which happened post Devadasi system. So many dancers who spend their life living in temples, they were trained in dance, they were trained in music, poetry, their entire life was dance temple. Imagine they were suddenly left with no space. They were snatched away the temples from them. They snatched away their art. They were told you should not perform. This is not a cultural thing. And the temple dances like those, like that the core of Andhanatyam also slowly started disappearing after this act. And not only that, temple and royal patronage also collapsed. So before, if we see, there are many kings who supported artists, many singers, many artists. They used to just out of love for art form, the culture, they used to give so many funds at the time. And post this Devadasi Act, it also collapsed. Kings no longer giving funds. Now, so many dancers, artists, support system is gone. The temple dances. So, like when the support is gone, but still some art forms like Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi were adapted and supported by the state. So Andhanatyam is left behind. Not only that, without performance spaces and with increasing social stigma, oral traditions also broke down, and Andhanatyam nearly vanished from public level. So when we speak of revival today, we are not just talking about bringing back an old dance form. We are actually talking about restoring the dignity, restoring that heritage, reconnecting with something very pure that almost erased. And after this Devadasi Act, now after everything we have seen, the decline, the loss, the silence, all these things, here where the hope enters the story. And the hope came in form of one person, that is Dr. Padmasri Nataraja Ramakrishna. He wasn't just a dancer. He was someone who has truly felt the pain of losing our traditions. He felt that pain. In late 1960s and 1970s, he began traveling across AP, like he visited Draksharam, Srisailam, all these temples, not to give performance, but to listen, to find a piece of an art form that had almost disappeared. And what did he find in this process? He met elderly women who once used to perform in temples. So they went into complete silence. They had been pushed into the shadows after years of stigma and rejection. Many had to stop their dancing career because there were no funds. There is no livelihood. They had to stop the dance and proceed or do something for their uh, bread and butter. And but Dr. Nataraja Ramakrishna Garu, he didn't approach them like a scholar. He just came with them with a respect, with lot of respect. He respected their stories. He listened to their stories. He honored their memories. Not like everyone else. He just came as a person who has lot of passion, who is feeling sad for lost traditions. And but even when he approached, there was a small gap because imagine years of social stigma and people just keep on taunting you. Will you open up to anyone if someone comes? No, we don't. Same thing happened with Nataraja Ramakrishna Garu. No one earlier opened up. But they understood that, okay, Nataraja Ramakrishna Garu is not like all of them. He's really concerned about the art form. And then slowly, those dancers started showing him the rituals like Kumbhaharati, which were once performed only in temples. And this is where the seeds of Andhanatyam revival were planted. Not in classrooms, not in books, but in quiet moments with forgotten women. In state temple spaces through memories and emotion. Then in 1970, something truly historic happened. A seminar called Abhinaya Sadassu was held in Rajahmundry. And for the first time, 31 temple dancers attended the event and they all had a conversation. And Srimati Muli Venkata Ratnama Garu, she came up with a name that this art form should be called as Andhanatyam. And everyone, all 31 members, along with the higher authorities, they even accepted the name. And from then, it was named as Andhanatyam. So, Andhanatyam is not something like it is Andhra, this came from AP. It is not like that. So, Andhanatyam is named like that. It is named by the old temple dancers who already danced in the temples. Now, after that moment, the revival began to take steps. Like in 1973, the first workshop for Andhanatyam was held in Hyderabad. And 1974, a syllabus was created so that it could be taught in a structured, systematic way. And Dr. Nataraja Ramakrishna also started training his own students to make this art form go forward. And the syllabus was refined in 1982 by many seniors. Many seminars, awareness happened in 1990s. In 1995, Andhanatyam became part of university syllabus in 80. And finally, in 2002, Potti Sreeramulu Telugu University introduced Andhanatyam at a post-graduation level. Now, that's a very big milestone, we can say. Now, while we have come a long way in Andhanatyam from Buddhist aranas to having a course of Andhanatyam in a very popular university, there, let's be honest, in this all way, there are still quite a few challenges we Andhanatyam dancers are facing today. Some are historical, some are very recently happened, or which are really holding back from reaching more people today. First, let's say it's not broken. It's just unsupported. Let's be honest, it is never broken. Andhra was very much alive. It was practiced, it was performed, it was taught, but it doesn't have the kind of consistent support as like other classical dance form enjoy to have. Like with a proper backing from government or cultural institutions or private sponsors, it becomes really difficult for an art form to thrive in this current state. And people are always confused with this art form. One of the biggest hurdles is awareness. Many people, a lot of people simply don't know what Andhanatyam is because many people confuse it with Bharatanatyam or Kuchipudi or something semi-classical or a folk, something like that. And there was no clear and unified understanding or presentation. So that was another challenge we faced. And very, we have a small ecosystem. I'll be very honest that we really have a we currently also have very small ecosystem. There are many, only few community of dancers or gurus or researchers dedicated to Bharatanatyam. It's still quite small if I compare it today. This makes it hard to build a visibility to host a large scale performance. It is difficult. And next comes the limited opportunities to study. Now, I said that NPA was introduced in Potti Sreeramulu Telugu University. Now, if we see in Hyderabad, if you want to study Andhanatyam, either certificate, diploma, or masters, you will not find any other college to study Andhanatyam MPA course. You will not find any other college other than Potti Sreeramulu Telugu University. That is one more challenge also. Like if students who are living far or not from Hyderabad, let's say they are coming from other regions, now that's a major barrier. They are left with only one resource. How can someone have like I keep their one banana and ask 50 people to share it? It's not possible. And there is also a real gap when it comes to books, research papers, and academic resources. So, recently I started researching more about Andhanatyam as I was very passionate. And in this process, I understood that there are very limited books. Books were only written by Nataraja Ramakrishna, that too they were in Telugu, and the paper is so fragile. It is so fragile. They are so old. I have to like delicately like open like this. I have to be very careful when I'm reading the script, trying to process the knowledge as if I'm holding a glass because I might break it. So there were less resources also. So again, my mission is to like some day or the other I'll put an effort to make this into a proper documentation so that younger artists have the access. And less again, in today's world, if it's not online, it doesn't exist. True? Yes. We all know. Instagram లేకపోతే ఏమీ లేదు, యూట్యూబ్ లేకపోతే ఏమీ లేదు, ఏమీ లేదు అసలు. సోషల్ మీడియా, ఇంటర్నెట్, ఇఫ్ దే ఆర్ నాట్ దేర్ అంతే. ఇప్పుడు నువ్వు ఇన్స్టాగ్రామ్ లో నువ్వు కనిపిస్తే ఉన్నట్టు, లేకపోతే లేదు. ఈవెన్ అవర్ ఫ్రెండ్స్ సెన్స్ దర్ ఇస్ అ మీమ్ సేయింగ్ దట్ అరే ఏంట్రా నువ్వు ఇన్ని రోజుల నుంచి మీమ్స్ పంపించట్లేదు, చచ్చిపోయావు అనుకున్నావు నువ్వు ఇన్ని రోజులు పంపించకపోతే అని అంటారు. సో సేమ్ థింగ్ ఈస్ హ్యాపెనింగ్ ఫర్ ఆర్ట్స్. అందుకే ఆర్టిస్ట్లకి ఇష్టం ఉన్నా లేకపోయినా సోషల్ మీడియాకి వస్తున్నారు. ఎందుకు? దే హ్యావ్ టు షో, దే హ్యావ్ టు ప్రమోట్ దెమ్సెల్ఫ్. లేదు నేనున్నా, నా ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్ ఉంది, ప్లీజ్ గుర్తించండి. వాళ్ళు ఎంత ఎఫర్ట్స్ పెడతారు ఆ వీడియోస్ కి, దానికి. ఇట్ ఈస్ really painful to see artists in that situation. And When it comes to Andhanatyam, there are not good quality performances available digitally, like YouTube, social media. And lecture demonstrations were also not there in YouTube. Informative videos were very less. I mean, if you do research like me, like if you sit hours like me, you will find. But it's not that easy because in today's world, we want everything in 3 seconds. We want everything in 10 seconds. We want reel to be engaging in the very first 3 seconds. If it is boring, okay, I'm skipping. Okay, next. So there is a drawback. We don't have digital presence here for Andhra. And now coming to the very recent issue, the Telangana and the Andhra bifurcation. So after bifurcation in 2014, so the name Andhanatyam started to cause confusion. Everyone is confused now. Aye, inti Andhanatyama, అది ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్ కదా. ఓకే, ఆంధ్ర ఉంది కాబట్టి Andhanatyam. ఇప్పుడు భరతనాట్యం ఉంది. I'm not offending it here. I'm just taking it as an example in a very respectable way because I also once trained as a Bharatanatyam dancer. So ఇప్పుడు భరతనాట్యం ఉంది. భరత ఉంది కదా, భరత ముందేమో ఇది అని అలా చెప్తామా? సో వీ షుడ్ నెవర్ కమ్ టు ఎనీ కంక్లూజన్ జస్ట్ బై లైక్ ఓకే దర్ ఇస్ వెరీ వెల్ సేయింగ్ డోంట్ జడ్జ్ అ బుక్ బై ఇట్స్ కవర్. సేమ్ థింగ్ ఫాలో విత్ ఆంధ్రనాట్యం. ఆంధ్రనాట్యం అనగానే ఆంధ్ర ఉంది, ఆంధ్రప్రదేశ్. నేను అందుకే స్టార్టింగ్ నుంచి స్టార్ట్ చేసుకుంటూ వచ్చా. త్రిలింగ దేశ అని ఇక్కడ వరకు తెలంగాణ ఏపీ divide. So now you got clarity. Andhanatyam, is it for AP? No, I want to listen. Is it for AP?
No.
No. So it's for everyone. It's our Telugu culture. It's Telangana, AP and Rayalaseema. So that issue came and the confusion affected academic programs also. And only since Telugu University is left now as part of Telangana. And there was a time in Andhra Pradesh also lost their centralized academics from Andhra. But recently, Tirupati has gained their reintroduced Andhra in the training and certification and all that. Now, I'm saying I'm just saying it is a classical temple tradition. I'm stressing on the word classical. Now you all know I'm stressing about temples. But I'm stressing on classical also. But what makes it dance classical? What? As a classical parent coaching. As a dancers, we should also have this theory knowledge, I would say. So let's understand what makes it classical, an art form classical. So ఫస్ట్ ఆఫ్ ఆల్ క్లాసికల్ ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్ ఆ కేటగిరీలోకి వచ్చిందంటే ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ స్పిరిచువల్ ఫౌండేషన్ ఇస్ వెరీ ఇంపార్టెంట్. ఇట్ మీన్స్ యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ద ఏషియన్ టెక్స్ట్ లైక్ నాట్యశాస్త్ర, అభినయ దర్పణం, ఆల్ దీస్ థింగ్స్. దీస్ ఆర్ ఏన్షియంట్ టెక్స్ట్. సో ఇట్ హ్యాస్ ద రూల్స్ ఫర్ పోస్చర్, ద మూమెంట్, ద గెస్చర్, ద ఎమోషనల్ ఎక్స్ప్రెషన్, ద అభినయ, ద హ్యాండ్ ముద్రాస్, the costume, the staging, all these things. So, Agama Shastras, all these ritual texts were always given. It gives the validation that this comes under classical. Without this very first textual foundation, the form may be rich in heritage, but it cannot be classified as classical. So, ఇప్పుడు మనకి బుర్రకథలు ఉంటాయి, అవి కూడా చాలా రిచ్ ఇన్ హెరిటేజ్, దానికి కూడా చాలా ప్రాముఖ్యత ఉంది. దే ఆర్ వెరీ గుడ్. బట్ వై దే ఆర్ నాట్ క్లాసిఫైడ్ as classical? Because they doesn't fall in the very first category. It doesn't follow the Natya Shastra. So we have to see that. Now again, we should have, if we are calling classical, we need to have system and codified structure. That is Nritta, Nritya and Abhinaya. It should follow the 3 things. Like we all know, but I'm still saying this, Nritta is pure dance. No expressions, just pure dance. Nritya, expression dance, where Abhinayam plays a role. And Natya is a dramatic element where drama happens, all dances come and create a drama, like they perform Ramayana, Mahabharata, all these things. And next comes codified technique. We have defined vocabulary of gestures for classical dance. We have mudras, we have aramandi, we have mandi aduvus, we have drishtivedas, we have neck movements, we have rhythms, and main importantly the musical alignment. And another thing, classical dances in India are often emerged from temple origins and courts. Like I already said it before, it's from temples and courts we have. And the next place, the dance and music are both inseparable. Yeah, they're, even if you snatch both, like now, come on. Even if we put them in a fight, they'll come along. They're inseparable. So, classical dance must follow that Carnatic or Hindustani music. It has music accompaniment with vocal, mridangam, veena, flute, all these things. So, one more thing is that Guru Shishya Parampara. So, the key pillar of classical status is the existence of unbroken lineage of teaching. It's formed in the traditions. గురువులు ఉన్నారు, గురువులు గురు శిష్య పరంపర చేయలేదు అనుకుందాం. ఇప్పుడు నేనున్నాను, నేను ఫ్యూచర్లో ఎవరికి నేర్పిలేదు, ఇది నాతోనే ఆగిపోతుంది. క్లాసికల్ ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్ కూడా ఇట్ హ్యాస్ టు పాస్ డౌన్ త్రూ జనరేషన్స్. ఇట్ షుడ్ బి పాస్ టు స్టూడెంట్స్. It doesn't have any differences. No matter where you are coming from, the guru has to teach it to the student. That is main thing. So without this parampara, the dance may lose its authenticity and depth. Even if we modernize, even today, Guru Shishya Parampara is always there. Even now we, before Guru Garu అని పిలుస్తాం, ఇప్పుడు టీచర్, సార్, మ్యామ్, ఏది పిలిచినా మనలో ఆ రెస్పెక్ట్ అయితే ఆ గురు శిష్య పరంపర అలాగే ఉంటుంది. సో దిస్ ఇస్ వాట్ క్లాసికల్ డాన్స్ ఫామ్, వై వి కాల్ ఇట్ as classical. అయితే ఇప్పుడు why recognition matters for Andhanatyam? Because Andhanatyam, it may not officially recognized alongside with other classical art forms like Kuchipudi, Kathak, Odissi. But when we look closely, it meets every major criteria which I mentioned earlier that defines classical dance form. ఇప్పుడు నేను చెప్పిన పాయింట్స్ అన్ని ఆంధ్రాట్యంలో ఉన్నాయి. ఆంధ్రాట్యం ఫాలోస్ ద మ్యూజిక్, హిందుస్థానీ, కర్ణాటిక్ మ్యూజిక్, we have everything, but still it lacks the recognition. So recognition here, I'm not talking just about status. I don't want status. I don't want status. It's about the survival, the support to the Andhanatyam, and the pride. Temple dances have struggled so much. They hold a lot of pride. So this is not about status. It is about our culture. When a dance form like Andhanatyam is officially recognized, what will happen? It will help preserve and revitalize an Asian culture heritage that has lived more than 3,000 years. This isn't just a history. It's a living tradition. One that carries voices, devotion, stories of generations of women. And with recognition, we can open doors to funding, to research opportunities, and institutional support. This, the kind that helps build academic programs, organize festivals, create more learning platforms and students. So it also brings much needed awareness if we get recognition, not just among dancers or scholars or students, but also among cultural policymakers and audience. Like, let's say we all are from Telugu, we all are Telugu people. Don't we think we need to recognize our culture? We definitely need. as a part of Telugu people. And recognition encourages mainly young dancers to explore this art form. I'll be very honest, I see very less young dancers coming to this, and I have seen that they come, they learn for some time, and they understand the struggles of the Andhanatyam, and they immediately shift to other art forms. They jump to Kuchipudi or Bharatanatyam, other art forms, and it feels painful to watch that. And we just can't hold them back. Please stay with us, because those are the real challenges we are facing, and we just can't plead someone to sit on the stove. Please, it will be worthy. No, right? So, without that visibility, without that recognition, this beautiful art form is fading. Remembered only in text, only in memories, but not seen on screen. There are very less stages provided for Andhanatyam. And here the most important part, Andhanatyam meets all the criteria of classical dance: spiritual backing, structure repertoire, codified techniques, scale and royal legacy, cultural music, Guru Shishya tradition. It's time that we recognize what truly it is: a cultural treasure of Telugu people and India. So, like I said, many people today are confusing the Andhanatyam with Kuchipudi, Bharatanatyam and all. So, I will tell you basic differences, so that you will have an idea next time you watch an Andhanatyam performance, you know the clear picture difference. Now, let's come to the origin. Andhanatyam, it's come from temple dances, temples, royal courts. Now, when it comes to Kuchipudi అనేది ఒక విలేజ్, అక్కడి నుంచి వచ్చిన ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్ అది. సో అది దాని ఒరిజిన్. భరతనాట్యం చూసుకుంటే తమిళనాడు టెంపుల్స్ లో ఉన్న స్కల్ప్చర్స్ నుంచి ఫామ్ చేసుకున్న ఆర్ట్ ఫామ్. అండ్ రెపిట్యూర్ స్టైల్స్, ఆంధ్రనాట్యంలో రెపిట్యూర్, ఆగమ, ఆస్థాన, ప్రబంధ. కూచిపూడిలో యక్షగానాలు అంటాం మనం, డాన్స్ డ్రామాస్ that are only performed by male troops. I'm stressing this, Kuchipudi was once only performed only by male dancers. There were no female at initial stage. It was developed for male dancers. It was for yakshaganas. And when it comes to Bharatanatyam, it was solo temple performances by Devadasi in temples. And now, gender history, Andhanatyam is purely female oriented dance form, and again it is solo only. Kuchipudi, it is traditionally performed by male, Bhagavata Mela. And Bharatanatyam, it's female Devadasis. Later today it has been adopted by all genders. And when it comes to body aesthetics, if you see an Andhanatyam performance, it is like a flow of water. It is soft, graceful and lasyam. The lasyam is there. Before having that name, it was called as Lasya Nartanam because of the soft and graceful movements. And when you come to Kuchipudi, there is a balance between Lasya and Tandava. When it comes to Bharatanatyam, they are geometric. They have every angle. Everything goes 90, 45. There is line for every step. And now comes musical tradition. Andhanatyam followed Carnatic music with regional ragas. Same Kuchipudi also Carnatic music with expressive lyrics. And when it comes to Bharatanatyam, classical Carnatic music, it was with fixed compositions. Now, when it comes to recognition status, Andhanatyam, even though it fulfills all the classical criteria, it is not yet nationally recognized, and both the Bharatanatyam and Kuchipudi are recognized. So, if you dive into, there are differences in costume. I'm also doing the series on Instagram page about posting the differences, about the difference of costume, difference of body posture, alignments. So it is clear and cut that every art form is different. And now you got to know all the history. I gave you my entire knowledge to you. Now I would like to ask a small favor, very small favor. The call to action, please explore Andhra. It's very rich, our tradition. Please explore. Learn and perform. I'll promise you, I'll conduct workshops, but will you come and learn and perform? Yeah, thank you. And collaborate and exchange with Andhra artists. Encourage institutions and attend and organize workshops. Attend, learn, encourage your fellow friends, encourage other artists also. Because I'm Native artist, but if there is a Bharatanatyam performance, I'll go and watch. Because I'm not doing a difference here. I'm going as an artist. I'm going as a classical dancer. So there is no difference between any art form. We have to consider that we all are on the same rooftop. And we have to encourage all other art forms. Go encourage, go support Andhra, go support. And so if you follow all these things, together we can ensure that Andhra not only survives but thrives. And now, to bring those words to life, we have a live demonstration of three major streams of Andhra, Agama, Nartanam, Asthana and Prabandha. This performance will be presented by my dearest Sai Manaswini, a young and passionate artist keeping this tradition alive. Manaswini is a dedicated Andhra dancer and disciple of Srimati Sathika Penna. She began her journey in this art form and she's been training since 11 years and has completed her certificate course, and now she is currently pursuing diploma in Andhra. And she has already left a mark with notable performance, including prestigious events like G20 Summit, and she won many first prizes in the Andhra competitions. And to begin with the Agama Nartana segment, we will be presenting a piece based on Ashtadikpalaka Seva. It is a ritual offering to the 8 directional guardians of the temple. Ashtadikpalaka temples lo మనం చూస్తే అష్టదిక్పాలక ఉంటాయి. సో ఈ ఆఫరింగ్ చేసేవాళ్ళు పూర్వంలో టెంపుల్స్ లో. సో ఆ టెంపుల్ సెగ్మెంట్ ఇప్పుడు మనసుని will perform. This is traditionally performed as part of Navasani Seva, a powerful agamic practice in inner premises of temples. So today we will be presenting first and 8th last gadya of this composition, offering salutations to those divine guardians in true temple tradition. Let the vibration of this ritual come back to the roots of Andhra as a state offering.